Good morning, welcome back to another video on the channel. So we have reached the semi-final stage of the final Grand Slam of 2024 at the US Open. We have two brilliant matchups on paper. First up we have the young Brit, Jack Draper, in his first ever major semi-final after reaching this stage without dropping a single set, up against world number one, Jannik Sinner. In the other semi-final, we have an All-American clash between Taylor Fritz and Francis Tiafoe, which could be an absolute classic. And I can't wait personally to watch these two matches to see how they unfold and see who we get in Sunday's final. So the first match I'm going to look at is Jack Draper against Jannik Sinner. Now, I think it's fair to say when you look at Jack Draper's draw, he's had an excellent one against either low-ranked players or players that haven't been fully fit. If you look at Zhang there, retired in the opening round, he then had wins over Diaz and Zanshul. Thomas Mahak didn't turn up at all and produced a horrible performance. Alex de Minaur was nowhere near his best, still recovering from the hip injury that he suffered at Wimbledon. But you've also got to give credit to Jack Draper. You know, he's a young player himself. He's had issues with his body in the past, and he's played fantastically well to get here. And to reach any Grand Slam semi-final without dropping a single set deserves a huge amount of credit. And whatever happens to Jack Draper tonight in terms of win or loss, he's definitely got an exciting future in the game. And I think from watching him this week, he's a player that is developing hugely and very quickly, particularly in his all-round game. I've personally been surprised by Jack's level this week. He's a player that I've watched a lot of and I've always known he's got big weapons. He's got the naturally left serve. He's got a fantastic forehand. His backhand's very consistent. But for me, his movement, his net play, his drop shots, his ability to play well under pressure. Tactically, I think he's improved so much in the past 18 months. And I haven't always believed the hype around Jack Draper, but now I certainly do. And I do believe that he's got a huge future in the game if his body holds up over the coming years. As I mentioned there, his drop shot, his backhand consistency, his counter punching, his speed, his defence, the way that he won the long exchanges against de Minaur really impressed me. I thought that's where the match would be won and lost. I don't think de Minaur was anywhere near his best, and I perhaps didn't factor in the injury from Wimbledon as much as I should have when doing that prediction. But the way that Draper maintained pace with real depth and forced errors out of de Minaur was very, very impressive. De Minaur couldn't hit through Draper at all, which is something I expected. We know that de Minaur's not got the biggest ground stroke speed on the tour. He's a very good counter puncher and mover. But I thought Draper was the one that defended and counter punch better. And when he got the chances on the short balls, the way he served, the way he hit the forehand throughout that match, the drop shots, the net play, it was an all-round fantastic performance from Draper. And as I mentioned there, he's becoming a very good all-round player. And that's what you need if you want to challenge for major titles in the future. As for Sinner against Medvedev, got my prediction right with that one. I went with Sinner in 4 sets, and the match sort of went as expected. Sinner was just too consistent from the baseline with his ground stroke speed. His ability to adapt, his use of the net from the third set onwards was very impressive in the way he switched his tactics up after Medvedev won the second set 6-1. And for me, Sinner is by far and away the best hardcore player in the world. I did say in my tournament preview that I would have predicted him to win this whole tournament, but wasn't sure how he'd react mentally to the failed drugs tests. I do think he's overcome that very well from first round onwards when he didn't play his best tennis at all. And I think looking from Draper's point of view, that facing Sinner is a different beast to anything like Draper's faced in this tournament so far. You know, Draper hasn't been tested at all. He hasn't been tested in many sets, let alone matches. But Sinner's going to present a whole different challenge to Draper, particularly in a fast hard court. So far in this tournament, Draper has got a lot of free points off his serve with the 1-2 punch and aces and unreturnables, whereas Sinner won't allow that. You know, Sinner's a fantastic returner. He adapts well to facing different surfaces. He's got a lot of experience on the tour now. He's faced a lot of left-handies on the hard courts. And I do feel like, although it's good for Draper, who has struggled with his physicality in the past, to get through to this stage without dropping a single set, you also do feel like there's a little bit of a negative that he hasn't been pushed to even a tie break. He hasn't lost a set. He hasn't faced any adversity because he hasn't really had any preparations for a real battle against Jannik Sinner. And I've got no doubt Draper's going to know that he's got a hell of a task in front of him against Sinner. But when you haven't really experienced that on court, You haven't mentally had to overcome any adversity. You haven't mentally had to produce your best in a tie break. It's difficult to rise to those levels in a one-off match. Draper does have the weapons and the baseline skills that have really impressed me this week, but Sinner is the best in the world of the baseline, without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion. His counter-punching's fantastic as well. We saw from the third set onwards against Medvedev, he's got the ability to attack the net and switch his style, and he executes that very well as well. So in terms of a final prediction for this one, I think it's been an excellent run for Jack Draper. Hugely impressed with his all-round game and the way he's developed that over the past 18 months, and I think he's got a very exciting future, which is brilliant for British tennis, particularly after the recent retirement of Andy Murray. But Sinner will surely be a step too far. I think his consistent quality, the way he maintains depth, the way he generates such great speed, a forehand and backhand, the major experience as well. This is Draper's first ever Grand Slam semi-final. Sinner's been there and done it before and lifted the titles. So I'm going to go Jannik Sinner to win this one in 4 quality sets. On to the second semi-final, and we have an All-American clash, which I think is fantastic for the tournament and for the fans. And at the moment, this really highlights the success of US tennis. When you look on the men's side, we've got TIAFOE and FRITZ in the US Open semi-final. Ben Shelton consistently climbing the rankings. On the women's side, Jessica Pegula in the US Open final. Coco Gauff being defending champion. It's a very exciting time. Emma Navarro also in the semi-finals. I think it just highlights the success of the American tennis so far, which has been a long time coming. Talking about this match, Taylor Fritz leads a head-to-head 6-1, which is a fantastic rating for him and will give him such confidence going into this match. Against Sasha Zverev, I was very impressed with Taylor Fritz throughout that match. I thought he was excellent. And, Zverev again didn't produce anywhere near his best when presented an opportunity to win a major, which is something I did fear for Zverev. But Zverev still being one of the best players in the world this year. So for Fritz to overcome that and get through that match is a huge mental shift for him as well, who hasn't always produced his best when given this opportunity. So I think to reach a semi-final of the US Open, and a brilliant opportunity at that, will give him a world of good with his confidence and ability going on in the tournament and his career. I was really impressed in particular with Fritz's ability in the tie breaks. He was rock solid. He served fantastically well. He took the match as Zverev and he dominated both tie breaks really and fully deserved to win that match. The forehand exchange, he dominated against Zverev. As I mentioned, I don't think Zverev's serve or forehand was anywhere near as good as it can be. Arguably the worst he's hit the ball all year. But Fritz very well to take advantage of that, and also won 81% of first serve points, which are fantastic numbers. He's only dropped 2 sets so far this tournament, and he hasn't had an easy draw. We look at the likes of Berrettini, Casper Ruud, Alexander Zverev. And when I watch Taylor Fritz, I never feel like he does anything special or he's got a sort of, go-to weapon, but he's just rock solid and he does everything very well. He's a very all-rounded player. He fights hard. He serves big under pressure. He's improving with experience and maturity as he, goes through his career. He's got a very reliable engine. We very rarely see Fritz injured or struggling with fitness or his engine. He trusts his game. He's got a fantastic mindset over 5 sets. He reacts well to adversity. He uses the crowd to his advantage. And I feel like he's just a player that's in a really good headspace at the moment and is fully confident that he can go all the way and actually win this title. Whereas for Frances Tiafoe, he's faced a lot more time on court, a very tough draw. He's came through, beating Ben Shelton in an All-American clash. Alexei Popyrin had beaten Novak Djokovic previously. Grigor Dimitrov was playing some brilliant tennis. Unfortunately, suffered an injury in the quarterfinal match. I think the match against Dimitrov could have been a classic. Arguably would have been match of the tournament, but for the injury for Dimitrov, which was a huge shame for him. It always seems that his body breaks down or he's unable to produce his best when he gets to this stage of majors. But Tiafoe done an excellent job of taking advantage of that and getting the job done. And I think when I think of this matchup, looking at the head-to-head as well, Lorenzo Musetti defeated Taylor Fritz at this year's Wimbledon with variety, unorthodoxy, switching styles. And I do feel like, although it's a whole different ball game doing that on a US Open hard court than it is on Wimbledon grass court. Obviously, Wimbledon, it's a lot easier to play with variety, with the low bounce and play with taking the pace off with the backhand slice, for example. But I do feel like TIAFOE has to switch his game up a lot in this one to be successful. And he does have the capability and skills to do that. He has to make it happen, in my opinion. We know FRITZ will happily back himself on the baseline to wear TIAFOE down with consistency, with the rock-solid forehand, with the brilliant backhand that FRITZ has got. He'll back himself just to break down TIAFOE physically and stay active in rallies, and TIAFOE will be the more likely one to break down in the longer exchanges and make an unforced error. So I feel like TIAFOE has to be the aggressor. He has to give FRITZ different looks, keep him wide, keep him deep. Don't let him settle into the baseline and get into an early rhythm and dominate off the forehand wing. And TIAFOE, in my opinion, will need a pretty perfect serve and returning day. We know that FRITZ is a player that gets a lot of aces, lots of free points and unreturned serves and short balls. He does win the majority of those points because he's fantastic when coming in on his forehand and hitting the open court and attacking the net with real conviction and authority. So I see a difficult one for TIAFOE to win this match personally, just with the route that he's had in the semi-final. He's spent a lot more time on court, and FRITZ is just so rock solid off the baseline, and he's serving so well that I see it difficult for TIAFOE to have consistent success and get into many rallies and dictate on his terms. In terms of final prediction, I feel like a neutral crowd will suit FRITZ. FRITZ is a player, I think, when he gets into a rhythm and into the match mode, then he just has full focus on the match, whereas TIAFOE really uses a crowd. He's very exuberant. He's more relaxed on court and wants a crowd on his side. But being an All-American clash, I think it'll be 50-50. Maybe if it gets to a tie break and TIAFOE can pull out his shot making and really excite the crowd, then he may have this slight edge. But in terms of looking head-to-head, FRITZ absolutely dominated 6-1. He's more solid and consistent from the baseline. He was excellent in the tie breaks against Zverev. Closed that match out fantastically well. And although TIAFOE has a star quality, and I feel like he can keep this match close, it may be topsy-turvy with it being such a great opportunity for both these players to reach their first ever major final. I am going to go Taylor Fritz to win this one in 4 sets. So if you would like the video and leave your comment on who you think will reach the finals, I do always enjoy reading those. If you could subscribe to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated, and support my journey into working in tennis media one day. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.